your cares behind. Come with us and find the pleasures of the journey to the center of the mind.
Good evening. I'm Rich Masadi, and on behalf of Richard Cerulli, the playwright and founder, and the troupe, we welcome you to our next episode of Studio E titled Existential Rants. Tonight's show will feature a number of actors of our repertory theater and newcomers, Jeff Sereski and myself, making our debut with the troupe. The troupe has grown over the past few years with many new, very talented and experienced actors, as you will see in this evening's performance. Tonight's performance will be a psychotronic comedy, teleplay written by Cerulli that merges existential thinking with comedy. We like to think of it as Jerry Seinfeld meets Socrates. In this evening's performance, each member selected a few of the playwright's rants and were tasked to develop their own characters. You may find these vocalized interior rants are not so uncommon, as many of us surely have experienced them at some time during our reflective moments, which the playwright refers to as internal brain viruses, which we may be inhibited to share with friends. So just picture yourself as a fly on the wall in a therapist's office, as we become innocent bystanders of our frail human condition. This work also gives our audience a chance to see the playwright's lighter side and the depth and versatility of our troupe. This evening's show will conclude with the playwright asking the question, why existentialism? So please join us for a journey to the center of our minds. We encourage you to view our website to view the many moving performances and our large body of works. Before I direct you to the show, if you are interested in joining our troupe as an actor, musician, supporter, or volunteer, feel free to reach out to us. You'll be most welcome, and we will be equally thankful. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy our show.
Come along if you dare. Take a ride to the land inside of your mind.
I live my life like all my yesterdays. Well, in reality, my life is just a collection of yesterdays. They're like my rewinds that I project into my todays. So today will just be another tomorrow's yesterday. Days just merge into my finite mortality. Do I exist just to mark time and listen to my interior thoughts? But sometimes I think, are they even really mine? Like, who really owns my mind? Well, and why do I waste my thoughts and times on laments? Shouldn't I be seeking my essence of life? Well, I know that I should, but I think I'm afraid to think and live outside the template of life that I've created for myself. I fear to seek new horizons for getting lost, so I find my sanctuary lost within my life.
I don't really plan my life. I merely follow it. Even if I don't like where it's going, I just follow my life like a shadow, surrendering my destiny to the herd, complete with its hive mind mentality. Well, there is strength in numbers, right? It must be so, since the herd pulls me in along no matter how weak I am. Though oddly enough, the herd never gives me the strength to walk and think alone. Though the herd does look happy in its march of despair, though I follow out of fear being alone. Truly, misery loves company. It makes us happy.
My life template consists of chores and errands that demand so much of me, not to mention my job that I loathe. It's merely a consolation prize for all my years in college. A job? It's merely a means to acquire my sustenance and to rank myself in the social hierarchy. This is quite an existential conundrum. Why the very means we need to survive must be financed at the cost of our own existence. Why the very means we need to survive must be financed at the cost of our own existence. Well, my degree is now merely an artifact I place in my 8-foot by 8-foot cubicle next to pictures of my children, now grown and who don't call me, unless they need money. Now lost in this galaxy of cubicles, I'm beginning to think if there's any life to be found in this fishbowl existence, where all our actions and movements are shared like a stage performance, and even whispers echo across the lifeless expanse. 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 Oh yes, the new tech age, where the computer is the white-collar assembly line. The assembly line, where the only privacy to be found is the bathroom stall. The gulag! The gulag is starting to look good. Though I should be more positive, right? Why, now with over 20 years at the job, I finally received my own cubicle, complete with a window view and a mounted sign with my name and title. If I'm lucky, I could retire at 70 in order to pay off my student loan. Only 20 more years to go. If I make it. Is it happy hour time?
But please realize you'll probably be surprised, for it's a land unknown to man.
Happy hour. It's really just a cliche, really, right? Why do we call it happy hour? Like, are we only entitled to one happy hour a day to offset the 23 hours of our miserable routine day running with the herd? Or is it just a label to justify that we can only enjoy our friends if we are drunk? What a sobering thought. What a brain wreck. We spend our hard-earned dollars on liquor that kills our livers and destroys our brain cells that we happily pay for as we complain about all our bills we can't pay, as we congratulate ourselves for earning promotions, for being smart. Why? So smart that our brains get lost in our minuscule fiefdom cubicle complete with our life artifacts to fill, just to remind us who we are. Remnants of lost dreams and lost horizons. We work with people we can hardly tolerate, only to meet up with them after work at happy hour, to commiserate on life, externalizing our problems, scapegoating everyone and everything for our problems. As we engage in an hour of non-sequitur questions answered with non-sequitur responses, as we engage multiple table cross-talk and multiple useless simultaneous conversations, each more boring than the other, along with stupid jokes that are more painful than the hangover I will endure for the sake of living my happiness in hell. Not to mention all the nauseating parental narcissism to endure. I guess we have to outsource our success to our children, since our cubicle offers little bragging rights, and to boot. I wonder if their kids have pictures of their parents hanging on the walls of their corner corporate offices. Hell, if the kids are smart, maybe it's because they're adopted. These useless conversations with no purpose and no end. Just a continuation of brain babble. Are we just bubbleheads for other people's enjoyment? Lost in our own delusions, in search of a cheap laugh to confirm our existence and purpose?
Am I an atheist, agnostic, or am I a believer? What an existential conundrum. What am I to believe? Just think, if the universe was made from a very hot, small, and dense super force out of nothingness, who created this very hot, small super force, and what is nothingness made of? If a creator God made the universe, then where did he live before he created the universe? And is he an only child? Do I pray and wait for an answer? See, I don't want to get this wrong, because if I deny that there is an afterlife, then how do I tell my believer friends that they were wrong? And if they are right, I will never hear the end of their bragging rights. Most likely to all of eternity at that. So I hedge my bets and pray to God that he is a forgiving God and that he'll forgive me for denying him, like his prodigal son, the parable. Right?
Would take the time to journey to the center of the mind.
It is fair to say that life is just a lottery, with our birth being the first drawing, rendering us no choice of our looks, intelligence, social status, or health. These are only the visible side of our life lottery, and not easy to disguise. In essence, are we cursed to grow into our likeness? I just get so depressed, knowing I will never be rich or famous. Then I begin to count my blessings, like I was fortunate not to have been born in a poor, developing third world country living in total poverty. Then I begin to feel guilty that I can only find happiness knowing there are people worse off than me. Can I only find happiness in other people's misery? And find my misery knowing there are people much better off than me? Like, am I some kind of a sociopath? Do I lack empathy, or am I just self-centered? How can I be self-centered if I'm not at the center of the world, but want to be the center of the world? Amor fati. Can I be strong enough to love my fate? Well, if not, I can easily follow the herd to delegate out my fate. And if I don't like it, I will just blame the herd. Well, maybe scapegoating is my fate.
Probably be surprised, for it's a land unknown to man, where fantasy is back. So
With wisdom comes age. Damn cliches. Existentialists disdain and loathe cliches. Who says anyway that age comes with wisdom? No. With age comes gray hair, wrinkles, frown lines, sagging profile lines, being cantankerous, and adding weight and inches to our now sagging body. We're just too tired to fight the gravity war. Oh, and not to mention all the medications and oils and glasses and hearing aids and lotions and more cosmetics that will take a bulldozer's worth of makeup to fill the life's divots that now have squatters' rights on my face. Why do we waste our youth on growing up? For the sake of denial and vanity, I still do force myself into my size 2 dress that's bursting at the seams. But I'm confident that they're making the dress sizes smaller these days, just to force us into spending money on some health club, and they have all those sadistic machines there, and to enroll in some exercise classes, buy the newest fad diet. All this just drains our checking accounts. And then we have to pay those back at usury rates that then forces us to buy the cheapest drinks at happy hour. Cha-ching, add up my tab to confirm that I killed enough brain cells. Yeah, now, feeling confident with age, I now have an abundance of wisdom to kill off. Is life just an absurdity measured by the degree of our mundane existence? Well, one more drink for the road. Oh, hell, better not. The last thing I need is a Dewey. With age comes memories. But we even doctor up the bad memories to rewrite them. So at least we could say we found our essence in the past. That's a pretty easy task with the onset of memory loss. When given lemons, make lemonade. Oh, damn those cliches.
Come with us and find the pleasures of the journey to the center of the mind.
To find validation in my existence and to survive my galaxy of cubicles looking for some sort of intelligence, I fill my expansive cubicle with my artifacts of my life product, like my college football trophies. I almost went pro if it wasn't for my condition of having an aversion to winning. So to lift my spirits, I decorate my cubicle walls with photos of all my children from not one but 2 failed marriages. Yeah. I frown because not only am I working to pay off my student loan, but also my children's college tuition. That is the curse of having raised intelligent children. Now, I would easily forego a parental narcissism for not having dumb kids. So let me lament here for a second. I should have gone to a trade school to become a plumber instead of going to law school where I can make the big bucks. And why? Because my plumber charged me a king's ransom for unclogging my toilet when I flushed down my college degrees. Well, I can honestly tell you that I still have the same waistline I had in my college athlete days. It's just measuring about 6 inches below the waistline, and that is to accommodate all the beers I drank while watching football as a means to outsource my life's touchdowns. I only wish that I had kept my football helmet to cover my balding head along with my pathetic comb-over. Paradise! Well, since life is a lottery, I am merely a victim of my environment. Well, research tells us our success rate climbing the social mobility ladder is based on our environment. So here it is. Since I lost the life lottery and was born into a dysfunctional home, I can't blame myself for my mundane existence. This externalizing does make me feel a bit better. Then I think, why look at Adam and Eve living in paradise? They pulled the winning number external life lottery, wind up in paradise dressed in their sky-clad best, and complete with social distancing, the only 2 people in paradise. Hell, a chance of infidelity? No kids? No kids to send to college? Just living in heavenly bliss? No aging, no illness, no neighbors to compete with. Living in a cubicle without boundaries. Then they begin to think, this is not enough. So they get into this existential brain virus about just existing in paradise, when they could find their essence by eating the sacred fruit to acquire all wisdom. You know they wanted to be gods. Then wham, they were thrown out of heaven, given to 2 express tickets on the Greyhound bus to Earth, where they find themselves on the line for their COVID shots, since people over 100 millenniums go to the head of the line. So now they go from fig leaves to face masks, along with 6-foot social distancing rules, and guess what? Find themselves in a cubicle next to mine. Now all they are able to do is raise Cain at happy hour to free themselves from their cubicles decorated with all their selfies taken from their paradise days, though they are a bit risque. So then, where can I find my essence? My essence is merely misery disguised, though Adam and Eve are such drunks.
Beyond the realm of what? Across across the streams of hopes and dreams where things are really not.
Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. With each new desire fulfilled, we soon find boredom with it, like a new toy, then discard it to create another desire. One that requires that we subsidize more of our remaining time to work longer and harder. So we live our life according to pop culture and consumerism, which requires us to work harder and longer for a promotion or a bonus that rarely comes. It eats away at our time bank, then we subject ourselves to those sadistic machines at the Talkamata Health Club. We go to yoga, we finance the newest diet trend, the latest phones, the newest cars, and on and on and on. It's just an endless cycle of despair to happiness, and then back to despair. Sometimes I feel like the mythical serpent Ouroboros that swallows his own tail. And for whom do we do this for? Ourselves? Well, not really to compete with all our coworkers and friends who we loathe or barely tolerate. You know, if they were really our friends, would we really need to impress them? So when we fail to fit in all of life's chores, errands, and demands, we find there's not enough days in the week. Unless you're an insomniac. So now, you take a course in time management that you don't have time for, or the money for. So you charge it on your credit card at usury rates. Essence is not found in time management. It's found in life management. And all we have to do is take the time to break away from the lost herd.
Leave your cares behind.
It just never ends. Just following the herd. So I go on. Cut the grass. Clean the house. Making repairs. Oil changes. New tires. Having my checking account be siphoned with all those automatic debits I can no longer keep track of. Doctor's appointments. Shopping. The dry cleaners. Chauffeuring the kids around. And doing their errands as well. We wish for them to move out so I can move on with my life, only to have my spouse leave me as well, since we have nothing in common when the kids leave. So now I just sit around looking at all my children's pictures, waiting for them to call. We're never content. And blind to the essence that surrounds us. We are such a picky, flippant, and contradictory bunch.
I feel like I'm driving my car and not getting far, with one foot out the door, living my life ajar. Driving at night with broken headlights, looking for signposts at midnight, lost in a world cold and recondite. I find myself lost with old maps and GPS. Can't find my home on familiar roads. Lost in sin is all I confess. I can't slow down with no place to go. Driving through rain and snow. I'm alone looking for a sunny road. Taken by surprise in my dashboard lights, driving to hell in heaven's disguise. Seeking light at the corner of midnight. I'm no place to be found. Looking for green fields and blue skies on a broken life's asphalt highways, driving to escape world of lies. Seeking my lost exit without a clue, hoping the next town will cure my blues. Nobody can afford my dues. Too poor to pay life's tolls, too scared to exit alone. Dodging potholes along my road, passed by horizons, talking on my cell phone. Redlining to get out of hell. Hiding in my external disguise. Have I found my essence living in hell? Believing is all well. My friends agree, nod with their heads, that it's best to deny the truth.
All of mankind would take the time to journey to the center of the mind.
Yes, life is just a lottery, with our birth being the first drawing, rendering us no choice of our looks, intelligence, social status, health, and of course choosing our parents. No wonder why we are so confused and always in some kind of existential brain rants that echo through my confused brain. Now I know why I'm so screwed up in the head. Just think. Here we are thrown into this home with these people we don't even know. And to boot, we are never formally introduced to them. Like one day, we open our eyes when we become cognized of our beingness. It's like noticing an old picture on the wall for the first time. It's always been there, but you just never noticed it. They have no job description. We don't get any instructions on how to deal with them, and we just start calling them by their nicknames, Mom and Dad, short for their real titles of Mother and Father. I must have been a child prodigy to figure this one out on my own. So one day, I'm just crawling around in front of my parents, and all these aliens referred to as uncles, aunts, cousins, grandparents, start approaching me, and I was never formally introduced to them. So they all sit around in front of me making all sorts of strange faces at me, trying to buy a smile with candy to rot my teeth that just grew in because they love me. How sadistic. Then they all start competing for bragging rights as to which one of them is going to be the first one to witness my steps and first words. Wow, they really need to get a life. They actually believe we are too young to understand them. So I figure, since they have nothing to do, I will hold them for some time before I start taking my steps and first words, just so they have to make more trips to come and see me and fill their empty lives with suspense and have a purpose in life. I guess this is their essence of life. So every time they come over, I stand on my feet and make an attempt to walk. As they edge a little bit closer to me with these stupid taunts, come on, baby, you can do this, come on. Take that bold step with confidence so that you can begin your life journey. Why, they must be totally clueless or on too many meds. Like, don't they know when you take your first steps, you're walking to your eventual death? And hell, just looking at their faces along with their bad breath, it is no incentive to walk to them. So I just flop on my little butt and smile and shake my rattle. It's a great being a tease. Then they ask me to say my first words, so I just smile and shake my head and arms and just burp. After stealing their parental narcissism bragging rights, they just all get depressed, leave me alone, and head for the liquor closet to get faced. I then crawl back into my room, and when no one is looking, I just close the door. So I just go back, run around my room, and start jumping across all the obstacles, course of toys that I left on the floor, just to piss off my parents. Then I jump into bed and start to read The Philosophy of Descartes and The Stranger by Camus to put myself to sleep. And don't forget Nausea by Sartre. You have to be an existentialist to survive your parents. So now my family is getting concerned that it is taking me too long to walk and talk. So they are starting to get worried that they have no bragging rights. And they start thinking about taking me to a doctor. So I felt, hell, I'm over 3 years old, and I screwed with their heads long enough like they screwed with mine. So the next time my grandparents come knocking at the door, I just got up, ran to the door in front of my parents, and they're shouting, "It's a miracle, it's a miracle!" So I opened the door, I let my grandparents in and strut across the floor, shaking my cute butt. So my grandparents now in awe and feel cheated that they did not see my first steps, inquiring, saying, well, maybe we'll see the first or hear his first words. So I looked to them and I gave them my cute smile, complete with rotted teeth, and said, you, kiss my ass. They were in shock, and they said, where did you learn this from? Where did she learn this from? And I just smiled and said, just kiss my ass. I heard it from you when you were faced. Well, son, don't tell lies. I never get drunk. So I responded, I don't swear, and that much anyway, but was it worth the wait to hear my words? So now they know I can walk and talk and now begin to worry because now they have to be careful of everything that they say and do in front of me. So to play the muse, I put on the TV and watch the news. Wow, an earthquake in California swallows up an entire city. So just to screw with their nimble little heads, I inquire, Mommy, Daddy, I'm scared. What's an earthquake and who did this? Don't worry, son. It's okay. It's the Earth's plates shifting unexpectedly and causing buildings to collapse. Oh, Mommy and Daddy, are we going to be swallowed by an earthquake? Don't worry, son. It only happens to people living on the West Coast. So, Mommy and Daddy, who caused this terrible thing? It's just Mother Nature, son. So, Daddy, is Mother Nature some kind of sadistic? And by the way, why would anybody move to a fault line? Well, they did it to have a nice house and to get a view of the ocean, and to live in a cool and hip state, and have bragging rights. So the next day I'm watching the news and I'm like, wow, there's a raging forest fire all across California too, burning all the towns that it did not fall into the ocean or the ground during the last earthquake. Mommy, Daddy, what is an inferno and raging forest fire? I'm scared. Who did this? And is our house going to be burned to the ground? Don't worry, my child. A forest fire is caused when it gets too hot and dry, and the forest begins to catch fire. Oh, did Mother Nature do this also? Yes, it's just nature's way. And don't worry, it won't happen here. The climate is too cool. And besides, we paved over most of our trees with asphalts and shopping malls. Oh, Mommy and Daddy, will Mother Nature still be alive when I grow up? Don't worry, son. Probably not. Global warming is going to kill her off very soon. Now go play and don't worry. Everything will be fine. So, hey, Mom and Dad, I'm watching the news, and now they say a tornado just wiped out a whole lot of towns in the Midwest. So is this caused by Mother Earth? Right, I guess? And should I worry? Right? Yes? Or you're such a perceptive child. There are no tornadoes where we live. So we are a bit removed from nature. See how Mommy and Daddy take care of you? So tell me, why do people build their houses with no basements in tornado zones? Like, do they just want to play chicken or something with Mother Nature? And besides, what are the chances of them going to win? And where do they go once their houses are destroyed? Why, they just simply rebuild their homes and hope that they won't be targeted into another tornado strike again. Well, Mom and Dad, I'm beginning to think adults aren't too smart. And, well, the people in the Midwest, why did they pick their location? For a view of the ocean or a beauty? Wait a second. No endless horizon of the flatlands. And by the way, did Mother Nature build the flatlands? You adults scare me. Why do you tell me not to play in traffic and never be reckless? Like, how reckless is it to choose to live in an area that's bad for your health? Wow, I see that college education is really going to teach me a lot. So like hearing all this, I just started reading all these nihilistic books to cheer me up. Life can be so nauseating. So soon after, my parents approach me with a big smile and they tell me, we are taking our vacation, son. So I inquire, what the f*** is a vacation? It's a trip we take to get away from all the pollution, crime, carcinogens, steaming pavements, and congestion. So I scratched my head and I said, I thought you said we lived in a safe place, far from the whims of Mother Earth. So they tell me we did not lie. Mother Nature did not create this cesspool of built environment. We humans did. Well, nothing like competing with Mother Nature to destroy us. So we are going to leave the city behind and go to commune with the beauty of Mother Nature. What the f***? Are you crazy? Mother Nature wants to kill us. What the f*** are we going to do? Pitch a tent over the San Andreas Fall Line? Rent a treehouse in the hot forest, or just go to a trailer park in Kansas and wait for a tornado to take us to Oz? I think even the Wicked Witch has more compassion than this bitch Mother Nature. And besides, I can kill her off with a bucket of water furnished by Mother Earth. So there are enough carcinogens in our drinking water to kill a whale, you know. So I hope we hitch a ride to Oz just to meet the charlatan wizard. So when you want to come home, you can put on those ruby slippers and click your heels 3 times and say, there's no place like the nursing home. There's no place like the nursing home. There's no place like the nursing home. Then I'm going to hijack the balloon and tell the wizard to kiss my ass. And I'm going to commit my parents to a retirement home built on the San Andreas Fault, overlooking the harbor, covered by a dry forest. Then I'm going to give them Toto. So after a few days, that dog will report them to the Humane Society. Then for coming home, I'm going to set the straw man on fire, start a forest fire around their retirement home, and then have the Tin Man chop down their beams holding up their deck before I take his rust proofing away. And just for fun, I'm going to take that cowardly lion's bipolar medicine and watch him terrorize you and your house when it plummets into the abyss. While the forest rages and the tsunami comes to wipe it out and to put the forest fire out. As you hold on to all the earthly belongings from the nursing home and my pictures of me taking my first steps. So I hope you left me a generous inheritance to pay for all my therapy sessions, bail money for stealing the wizard's balloon, alimony payments for Dorothy, and to legal funds to sue Mother Earth and give my best to Toto. I have no plans on leaving Oz for Mother Earth, that's for sure. No way in hell. Besides, the wizard does not charge a copayment for my therapy sessions. With love, your son, Ricky.
I'm Richard Cerulli, playwright, author, and founder of the Demitasse Players, a 501c3 charity. I founded the troupe as a repertory theater with a mission to write and produce plays in the hope that the stage would prove to be an excellent venue to educate our audience about mental illness and to remove the taboos associated with these family of illnesses. According to one government statistic, only 17% of adults are considered to be in a state of optimal mental health. The Center of Disease and Control, the CDC, describes mental health as a composite of emotional, social, and psychological well-being. As dismal as these statistics are, they are exclusive of the 7 capital vices: pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. Though outside the definition of mental illness, but nonetheless have a negative impact on our lives and society in general, and slows our psychological and emotional anthropology. The philosophy of the Demitasse Players is to never divide our audiences by using our performances to promote one agenda at the expense of another, or to use isms and ideologies as a scapegoat for all our social problems, and maintain that one ism or ideology does not have a monopoly on right or wrong. We are also committed to expand our radius of thinking by promoting discourse in all our works. We believe our frail human condition permeates into all of our noble endeavors, such as education, politics, religion, government, to name just a few. In essence, regardless of the ism or ideology we believe in, our crooked timber of humanity has proven to corrupt the best of intentions and institutions. By making a opposing ideology or ism a scapegoat does not advance our psychological anthropology. To be clear, we are not anti-ism or ideologies, although take the position that we should strive to improve ourselves individually by rising above our frailties, egos, emotions, and insecurities. We also believe that we can all agree in general, humanity at times can be ungrateful, fickle, fake, cowardly, covetous, selfish, and hypocritical, to name just a few. Characteristics typical of our human condition that can slow down our human advancement. In our present human condition, our irrationality clings to us like a shadow. Often, a new ism is created to offset injustices and poor decisions by the leadership of previous isms. For example, Protestantism is a reaction to Catholicism, and socialism is a reaction to the abuses of capitalism. This is not a condemnation against organized religion or capitalism. The point being, abuses are more the result of insensitive leadership decisions resulting from our frail human condition rather than the ism or ideology itself. We also find it quite ironic, and to a degree, it's a very sad observation that our technology advances at exponential rates, our psychological anthropology has not advanced to keep pace. And may be fair to say we are still in the dark ages as a result of our frail human condition. Though we have made noble advancements in improving our psychological human condition, we are still lagging behind our technological advances. Our mission is not limited to just the majority of the population who are afflicted with mental disorders, but to all, in the hope of improving the mental health of all our audience. In closing, I will leave you with this thought to ponder. Regardless if you are one of the majorities who are afflicted with mental disorders or fall in the 17% who are free of mental illness, we are all tempted at times to act upon our 7 capital vices, and also are prone to be at times ungrateful, fickle, fake, cowardly, covetous, selfish, and hypocritical, to name just a few. Providing, regardless of where one lies within the statistics and what ism and ideology we follow, we all share in common our frail human condition and distress, and believe we cannot advance society until we all advance ourselves individually. We do not support the belief that one can find security by wrapping themselves in an ideological and narcissistic cocoon, believing themselves to have a monopoly on right. Maintaining such action is a convenient addiction to isms and ideologies. One delegates to think and speak for them. On behalf of the troupe and myself, we hope you have found our performances entertaining, informative, and have helped in some small and humble way to straighten our crooked timber of humanity. In closing, I will direct you to our website to view our diverse body of works at www.demitasseplayers.com. Thank you.